Tools for Health and Wellness. Tools for Health and Wellness is my own project that I'm particularly proud of. It attempts to move away from focus on psychopathology and rather throw more light on the path to health. The site is designed to help you get quality advice on a wide range of physical and psychological health and wellness topics. It promotes the idea of creating broad-based health throughout your life and acknowledges that in order to maximize happiness and reduce stress, both your physical and psychological well-being need to be encouraged. Tools for Health and Wellness is designed for everyone. It is intended for those of you doing really well in your lives, looking to tweak one or two small things to maximize this amazing life experience. But it is equally intended for those of you who are really struggling at the moment and are looking for more in-depth help with particular issues or conditions. Life can be tough and the manuals confusing and outdated. Have you ever struggled with a level of underlying anxiety or sadness that detracts from your life? Or spent a fortune on years of therapy, but all that self-growth somehow doesn't seem to translate into less stress or more happiness? Possibly, you're just tired of reliving the same old destructive patterns in relationship time after time. Or finding that you're developing several odd physical or physiological symptoms that are medically cured but appear to regularly rinse and repeat. You might be struggling to find enough hours in your day, or to shake off those extra pounds before summer. Or possibly you've noticed that you've been going a little bit heavy on the booze recently and that your partner is beginning to complain. Then again, it could be that you're one of the many out there who are in a relationship or indeed at work and are experiencing physical or psychological abuse. Or perchance, you just cannot suffer that haughty, sarcastic colleague of yours for even one more day without discovering if a lipstick tube could by chance be used as a traditional weapon. If any of these are true, then this website is for you. Core tools for ongoing health and wellness. This site is and always will be a work in progress. It cannot be otherwise, as it is created by a human being in order to help fellow human beings achieve ongoing dynamic growth and happiness. We are always a work in progress. It is a site designed to help you better cope with the many stresses and pressures that you face on a daily basis. With all that in mind, the site can help you become healthier through rejuvenating and balancing your mind and body. Ah yes, before I continue, here's my seriously truncated disclaimer. It is a great time to point out that the site is seriously awesome, however, it is not omnipotent. Obviously, you need to consult with the relevant healthcare practitioners if you have a particular medical condition. Feel free to wade through the lengthy and somewhat bureaucratic disclaimer on the site if you so choose. Alternatively, you might want to reserve it for when you get trapped in an elevator overnight. Let us take a look at the core areas of tools for health and wellness. Psychological disorders. We will create an improved understanding of psychological disorders or psychopathology, if you like. We will also introduce techniques and strategies largely from cognitive therapy, such as cognitive behavioural therapy, rational motive therapy, and schema therapy, to help you reduce symptoms and indeed alleviate many of the problems that you might be having. Drug abuse and addiction. Drug abuse and addiction is obviously a subsection of psychological disorders. This section provides tools and the necessary information to help both addicts and their loved ones to overcome drug abuse and addiction and the suffering that it causes. We will examine addiction from different angles, including an understanding of a diverse range of mood-altering drugs and behaviors. What makes addiction a disease? The neurochemistry of addiction, what is necessary for recovery and relapse prevention, and indeed how best loved ones of addicts can cope with this terrible illness. Trauma, abuse, and bereavement. The site will also focus a bit on trauma-based psychopathology, such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, child abuse, and various forms of bereavement. Chronic illness. We live in a world where we are quite rapidly winning the war against many of the traditional communicable viral and bacterial illnesses of yesteryear. However, we have introduced a new communicable illness in HIV/AIDS. Largely though, what people are suffering from, and indeed dying from, today are chronic degenerative conditions such as cardiovascular illness, cancer, diabetes, together with more complex and poorly understood syndromes such as chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme disease, and lupus. This section will aid chronic illness sufferers and their loved ones to best manage their illness. Psychological tools for wellness. Psychological tools for wellness will be designed to teach useful skills to those of you who are largely enjoying life, but feel you could use a bit more of a skill upgrade in facing whatever life throws at you. We will examine cognitive, behavioural, physiological and emotional skills and tools to not only help you deal with problems, but more saliently increase the saturation of experience in your life. How to relieve stress. All of us struggle with stress. In fact, if you were stress-free, you would be dead. We'll examine the difference between good and bad stress and how to balance this out in our lives. As a part of this, we will unpack useful and creative techniques that guide you through a process of how to reduce stress and introduce relaxing and mindful processes in your life. Romantic relationships. Relationships are awesome. They can also be painful and infuriating. I suspect for most of us, this is the area where we most wonder whether there was some sort of manual that ran out just before we popped out the birth canal. If you are heterosexual, you have to deal with the reality of spending the rest of your life with an entirely different species. If you are homosexual, you have to learn to deal with the opinions of everybody else out there. This section will help you develop and upgrade your relationship skills in areas such as empathy, communication, conflict management, and sexual relations. It will also help you with confidence and skills to get into a relationship in the first place. If you're beginning to get apoplexy every time your married friends start talking about, oceans and all those fish. Workplace wellness. We spend a ridiculous amount of our lives at work. With that in mind, we really need to be certain that we enjoy what we do, rather than just white-knuckling it through what amounts to a considerable amount of our life. This section provides information around the complex topic of workplace wellness, from how to get on with your most miserable of colleagues, to boosting your performance through efficient use of a health and wellness diary. Exercise workouts. We will examine how to radically improve psychological and physical health and energy levels through better diet and nutrition, regular and yet interesting exercise workouts, and nutrient supplementation where necessary. Exercise workouts will take a look at what options are out there and what will be both safe and most effective for your unique physique. Healthy diet plan. A healthy diet plan is a vital part of holistic or systemic wellness. We will examine why fad diets inevitably fail and ultimately negatively affect your metabolism. We will also examine some of the current trends in dietary research and try to wade through all the marketing bullshit to understand what actually works long term as opposed to just going around in circles. So basically, we are talking about lifestyle change. Best vitamin supplements. Many people pour a wealth of vitamins down their throat without actually knowing whether they need the thing in the first place. This is unnecessary and can even be detrimental. However, vitamin and mineral supplementation can make a huge difference in situations where someone actually is not getting enough of something critical in their diet or suffers from a particular illness or vulnerability. This section will examine not only when supplementation is necessary, but also which supplements actually have thorough and unbiased research demonstrating their efficacy. In synthesis, the site is designed to address psychological and physiological wellness in a systemic, well-researched, and grounded manner. It will introduce tools and techniques that I've utilized and sharpened over the course of my career as a clinical psychologist and adept researcher. As you can see, Tools for Health and Wellness is designed to take you on a somewhat ambitious journey to find your own unique path to better health and happiness, and to aid you in the path of self-discovery that will allow you to reach your potential and be all that you wish to be. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.